Hi. Last week, well, no, the week before, I posted a bunch of cards that look like this. And I got some questions as to how I made the background. Well, they were all made from cards that were in my leftover bin. So I'm going to start again with showing you how to make this card, which I just repeated the process. I also did paper, pattern paper, which did not work out as well. I mean, you can possibly see that the embossing was too deep for the pattern paper and it ripped when I wanted to fold it and ink the edges. So just be wary if you do it with pattern paper. So we're going to start with a piece of 4 by 5 1/4 inch white cardstock. Bring in my embossing and die cutting machine. And I'm going to use the Sunflower 3D embossing folder. Now you got to keep in mind, you're going to use the debossed side, because you want all of the little ridges to catch your ink. So when you're putting your paper in, you want to look to see what you like for this side. And I'm going to go with that. Don't know if you can see it well. So I'm going to emboss that. There we go. Move that to the side for now, because we will be die cutting soon. Oh, look, it's so dry here. Okay, so here is our embossed piece. And look, I'm gonna make sure you're using the part that goes down. I will move these. Now I'm going to use just a scrap piece of paper. You can use, if you want to clean your surface, go with that, or a glass cutting mat, or whatever you have. Now I'm taking the Peach Pie foam stamp pad, and I'm going to lightly drag it along. You don't want to put too much ink down or it will get into the debossed sections that you're trying to highlight. And I like to go from both sides. So that's pretty good. Some of them I had, like the pink one here, I really had a lot of pink in here, and I just love how that one turned out. So maybe I will try to add a little more ink to that one. That's pretty saturated. I haven't used Peach Pie much. Now I can move that for a minute. I like to use a scoring board. You can use your cut trimmer, whatever you want. And I'm going to do every inch. Now I know the original, which I haven't actually watched, I've only seen pictures, but I believe the original did it every 1/2 inch. I liked wider strips. I don't know, I just saw a picture and decided to recreate that picture. So there we go. I'm sure you can't see those because they're with the ink. You can see them on this side probably. Okay, now we need this again. And I'm using a Stampin Spot because this has a felt pad and I think it gives a better wood grain texture. So I'm gonna start by inking my, inking my table. Yep, that's what I'm gonna start with. Inking where I folded, where I scored. I fold along that and then I ink these because I wanna be able to see them. I know it seems really bold right now, but once we start inking the rest of the background, it won't look quite as bold. And it can be really challenging to fold these when there's so many indents. So just make sure you're careful. And then the last one. There we go. So that's how it's looking right now. Now I'm gonna take the same ink pad and I'm just gonna drag it down so that we see more of the embossing texture come out. And it doesn't feel so, I don't know, it just seems flat. Even though it's raised, it just seems flat when it's just the one color. I think the early espresso just adds so much to this. There we go. So there's our background. I think that's gorgeous, and I am not exactly a fan of peach. So move that out of the way. Now I am going to glue this down because I want to be able to put something heavy on it for it to set. Oh, I forgot to close this up when I finished using it last time. Let's see if it comes out. Yes. I like to use liquid glue when I'm doing an embossed background because there's not always as much for the embossing to cling to, and it gives me more time to move it around. Okay, so there we go. Now we're going to work on our sentiment. I should probably bring that one up. This is what we're making. That just needs to be die cut. This we're stamping. So the scallop is from the Scalloped Wishes stamp set, and my sentiment is from the March product of the month, Notes of Spring. Because I don't know about you, but I send more birthday cards than anything, especially since I'm in a few birthday clubs. But we'll get the oval stamped. Then I'm going to stamp my sentiment and fit it inside the oval. I love clear stamps, so I can see through them. Okay, we're done with our stamping. Clean those off. Actually, remember to wet this first. I'll often just spray it with water and hit it with the rag. Okay, bring this back in. Now, I'm going to do this one from the Earthen tone to give the background. And then I also have a die for the stamped image, and we just have to get that lined up. Take that down, run it through. Move that over now. Okay, so here's our sentiment. Looks like, oh, there we go. Sentiment. And I suppose I should show you this. So it cuts out the middle part and the frame. But I need to clean off my extra bits. And this is always stuck in here for me. There we go. Clean out a few of those. And it's so pretty. But I'm going to choose to use both and put it on my card. So since this is pretty detailed, I'm going to use a finer tip. Make sure it's cleaned out. Just do little dots. When my kids were in daycare, they used to call these kindergarten dots to make them sound like you were grown up if you did little tiny dots. I'm gonna stick it down here and stick that on for a minute. And then it's easier to get the glue out from the bigger tip for the back of this. And stick that in the middle. If there's any glue that ends up on top, we can use a rag to wipe it off. Okay, that's still drying. Move things out of the way. And then I'm going to put dimensionals on this to pop it up. There we go. It's looking pretty good. Clean off that little glue spot there. Not that anybody's going to see it because it's going to be underneath my sentiment, but I would know. Okay, take off the covers of the dimensionals, throw them on the floor as I'm trying to throw them in the trash can, and then we'll add our sentiment there. I'm going to finish it off with some iridescent foil gems. I thought the gold went well with the peach pie. I'm gonna add one down here, one up here, and one over there. And that is how simple and easy that card is. It looks like you spent a ton of time on it and it's really cool, but it's pretty easy. You could also, now that I'm thinking of it, can't do it now, you could ink the edges with the early espresso too. That could be really cool. Well, thanks for watching.